Hi again, this is Richie. In this video I will show you how you can clone a repo, create new branches, and resolve merge conflicts. So first, let me show you how you can create a repo, just in case you need to create one for your project. So I'm already in my Bitbucket page, and we click on the plus, and then under Create, we select Repository. The name I'm going to give my repo is my repo, and for the include a README, I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to use a template. The only thing on the template will be the name of my repo. We click on Create Repository, and once it's created, we're going to notice some information on it. So that's the only file in it under the readme.markdown. As I previously mentioned, the only text in it is my repo. But in order to clone this repo, we have to go back to the top and we have to copy this line, which will tell us that it's for the git clone. We need to copy this, and then we go into our Windows machine and open SourceTree. In my case, I already have SourceTree open, but as you can see, I don't have any local repos. So I'm going to click on Clone. I'm going to enter and paste the address. I'm going to click on Browse so that it can verify. For now, we can click on Close or Cancel. And it's basically going to tell us the location that it thinks this should go into. If you want to change it, you can go ahead and change it. Just make sure that you know where that is and the name of the repo that we want to give to our local copy. So this name and that name should match unless your mentor or professor tells you otherwise. So let's click on clone. And now we should have a local copy with us. So that was the easy part. Now to create branches, first let's do a fetch just to make sure that if there were any changes in between, and a pull, again just in case. So nothing under working copies. And if we click on master, there's the readme, the original readme, which is my repo, just like in the original repo. So to create branches, it's this easy. We already have selected master. We click on branch and we enter a name for the branch. For this one, let's call this Alice, and let's create the branch. If you notice, now it changed into the circle changed into Alice, which means that that's the active branch. Let's go back into master by doing right click and check out master, and let's create another branch. In this case, let's call this one Bob. So since these were copy of the branches directed to master, then they should have the same message. If we notice under Bob, the readme reads the same, and if we check out Alice, the readme is the same as well. Also, if we go into the repo that we created under, in this case, under my documents and my repo, this file should be specific just to Alice. And when I do a checkout to Bob, this file will be specific just to Bob. And the same thing for master. In this case of Alice, let's first make a change. Let's add a line. This repo belongs to Alice. And let's save that. When we go into the working copy, it's going to notice now that you're going to notice that we have two places, stage files and on-stage files. Before we didn't have this when we click. So when we click on readme, we're going to notice two different lines. There's line 1 and line 2. This is what was before, this is what is after. So before we had for line 1 my repo and this blank line. After we had the first line the same and the second one in green, the changes that we made. Let's stage this and let's give it a name of for the commit as Alice's first commit, and let's commit that. Now let's check out Bob. Now you notice that the changes that we did were done to the file. We just checked out Bob, so this should be the working copy for Bob. So if we open it, there it is. The information from Alice is no longer there because this is Bob's local repo now. So let's put a related message. This repo belongs to Bob. Let's save this. Let's close it. And let's go into the working copy. Again, when we go into the working copy, we notice that this is on stage. We click on it and we have a related message like we did for Alice, but this time is with Bob's message. We're going to commit this as well because we're committing them into their respective branches. Bob's first commit. If it doesn't give you the commit message, it means that you haven't moved anything into the stage session. So let's move this one into the stage session. And now it's going to allow us to commit it. Okay. Now, if we check out master, we're still going to notice the master doesn't have any changes here. But let's do the push. And the push, let's just do it for Alice and Bob, respectively, into the respective local repos. We shouldn't have any problems. And now let's say that we want to incorporate them into master. Well, first we decide which one we want to do first. We have to be on the master branch, and we right click and we say merge. It's asking us if we are sure that we want to merge Alice into the master branch. We say okay because yes, that's what we want to do. And let's do the same thing for Bob. Right click, merge, and again it's asking us, do we want to merge Bob into the master branch? And we say okay. But now it says that it has a merge conflict with a working copy. Because again, we had the first line that was the same, the second line that was different for both of them. So we say close. And now if you notice on top of Bob, we have uncommitted changes. So what are these changes? And how can we fix them? So here's the stage file. And if you notice, this looks a little bit different from what we actually type. The on stage, it's basically the same. On the top part, basically Alice made the first part, so she's at the head. And the second part is Bob. We made that one last. And it's telling us it's either this one or that one. But there's a third option as well. And remember, we have checked out master, so the actual file should look the same, just like this one. So let's open this up so that we can make changes. And there it is. So it's asking us decide. I cannot decide for you, so you have to decide for me. That's what Git is telling us. So we have to either leave this message and remove this and this, or we have to leave this message and remove this part and this part. Or we can do a custom message. And that's what I'm going to do in my case. In my case, I want to leave this information, but I want to add Bob as well. So I'm going to change this to say this repo belongs to Alice and Bob. And I'm going to remove this message so that it knows that I have already edited. And I'm going to save it. Next, I'm going to go into the working copy. And here's the previous stage. And here is the on stage. So I'm going to stage this one. And if you noticed previously, I had to write my own commit message. In this case, Git has already created a comment for me. So I am going to leave that as is. And I am going to commit this. Now when we're going to master, that's what we had before, and that's the new one. We still haven't pushed this into the main repo or the remote repo. So if we do a refresh on this, it should still be the same. So now we go back. It's telling us that it has 3 changes that we can push. So I'm going to go ahead and push those 3. Basically, the other 2 changes are within the master branch. And the last one that we did where we did the merge conflict resolution. So let's push. And that 3 should clear from there. And now as you notice, it's going into the main branch and we don't have a problem. Now if we do a refresh on this page, we should have the last information. There it is. So that's how you resolve merge conflicts. I hope that this video has helped you, and let's go on to the next one.